Hi guys, today is day 10 of my 12 days of Christmas nail art. New nail art tutorial every day up through Christmas, and it'll be these 10 designs plus 2 additional manicures. Today we're going to be working on this Water Marble Poinsettia, so if you'd like to see how I did this, just stay tuned. For the poinsettia on my thumb, I have a base coat applied, and for my base color, I'm using Sally Hansen Cherry Red. Both the colors I'm using to create the Water Marble Poinsettia are from Sally Hansen. The green is Going Green, and the red is Cherry Red. Once the bullseye is built, go ahead and make sure the sides are anchored so it doesn't move around as you're drawing your design. Then go ahead and I'm going to draw a 8-sided flower. So just draw in from each of the 4 sides and then draw in between each of those. And sorry if I'm a little bit quiet, but it is getting very late and I am very tired. Once you have that done, you're going to go ahead and each one draw out to the edge so that it gets a pointed petal rather than a rounded petal. And that's what's going to give it the look of a poinsettia since their petals are pointy. Make sure the center is fairly clean. You don't want any bubbles. It doesn't have to be completely flawless because we are going to cover it up a little bit. So kind of imagine that on your nail. Decide which side you want pointing what direction. I'm actually going to turn it just a bit here. I did prep around my thumb with some liquid latex, and now I'm just going to carefully dip into the design. Go ahead with the orange stick and clear up the excess polish so that doesn't stick on top of your design. And depending on how big your flower is, you may be able to fit the whole thing on. You may be able to just kind of pick a side and get part of the flower on there. And I actually intended that to be a little bit more centered, but this will work. I'm going to go ahead and peel off the liquid latex here. I tried to cover most of my finger. I do have a little bit of cleanup still to do, but my battery's almost dead, so I'm going to finish the design before I finish the cleanup. I've got some clear polish, and I'm going to apply that right to the center of the flower. And then I have these little gold beads, and I'm going to pick some of those up and put them in the middle here, because that's what a poinsettia looks like in the middle. And I wanted this to be, I mean, not realistic obviously, but just to be sure to include all of the real things inspiration, if that makes sense. So once you get those on, you can kind of move them in the clear polish so that they're kind of rounded in the middle like that. And I'm going to give that a minute to set while I clean up this excess polish here on my skin, and then I'm going to finish off with a top coat. I do actually have another poinsettia water marble. It's using different polishes and the placement is a little different. That one, the flowers are just half on each nail, and at first I was disappointed this one wasn't more centered, but in hindsight, given the size of the flower, if it was centered, it might not actually be obviously a flower because too much of the red would have shown. So think it was kind of a happy accident, as Bob Ross would say, that it ended up a little bit crooked. And just to give you guys a look at my test swatch here, this side is green, this side is red. You can see at the sides with no base color. Over green, the red really is not recognizable. Over red, the green just gets a little bit darker, or if you wanted a brighter green, you could go with a white base. So I do still have 2 more manicures coming to round out my 12 days of Christmas, but I'd love to hear which of these first 10 is your favorite. I think I have to stick with the snowman because he's just super adorable, and because I was so nervous about doing him in the first place. So let me know what you think down in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching.